we can't do our Home Advantage segment without our good friend Chad Cromer and a really beautiful home. You're not so bad either.
Oh, thanks. I was going to say, talking about beautiful, I was going to say, how we doing?
Thank you very much, Chad. So this home, as you look at it, as somebody like me who's, the buyer, and you would be the real estate agent, I'm looking at how beautiful it is. I'm looking at the front door and the landscaping and the lighting, and I'm just thinking to myself, there's nothing that could be wrong with this, right?
Well, there could be some things wrong with it, but more importantly, you want to know why it's here and how it's going to function. Obviously, the roof is brand new. You could tell. You want to make sure it's installed properly from a local contractor and what kind of warranties go with them. Everyone likes the beautiful uplighting that you can't see right now, but how does it go on? Is it on a timer or is it on a sensor? This one's by a sensor. You can see it on the downspout line here. And obviously in the lush green grass that everyone has here, there must be a sprinkler system.
Right.
How do we see it? The brains are right there in the rock landscaping, and that's how everything functions on the outside here.
So those are the things that you're looking at for somebody like me who's just blown away by how beautiful it is.
Absolutely.
So Chad, as people are walking around home, what are the other kinds of things that you're paying attention to that maybe after hearing this, they'll be paying attention to as well?
Well, probably from the front door to the back door, there's not much going on as far as a consumer, but what I'm looking at, for example, would be, this property is sloping towards the street. It's going away from the house, which is nice. Heavy rains, it's going to end up down there instead of in your basement. And then also I could see these dark spots. What that probably tells me is that at some point there was some concrete leveling. This is a telltale sign for that.
All right, we've made it to the back of the home. So Chad, you're noticing things that I would never have even thought of, to be honest with you.
Well, it's 15 years in the business of the trained eye. So, what I always like to point out to people is driving skills a little bit. Got a 3-car garage here. Sometimes there are 3 single stalls. Sometimes it's one big 3-car door. Obviously, it's easier to park these cars the wider the doors. So yeah, be aware of that.
No kidding. That's something that I need to be referencing for sure. I hit everything in sight. All right. So the landscaping, I'm noticing the lack thereof in this home. And what are you seeing?
So obviously with the landscaping, what a lot of people see is, yes, it's a project, but it's usually considered sweat equity. It's something the couple can do themselves. In reality, it's probably a bigger expense than you think to put in a paver patio or something to those sorts. It could be pretty expensive, so you want to make sure you know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, price it out before you probably even make the offer. And last but not least, I have a dog. I love her to death. I would think, oh, okay, all I have to do is just put in a fence.
Right. And again, typically what we know is the rule of thumb. It's about $50 a foot for material and everything installed. So the fence in the backyard here, you're probably $15,000 to $20,000. Got to make sure you're aware of those.
Chad, all I can say is thank you for pointing out all the things that we probably wouldn't have noticed, and good to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you.